Good evening. We're going to build on the practice of last week this evening. So we're thinking about releasing our stresses and our tensions, our worries, about moving forward with any changes with regard to maybe returning to work or beginning to socialise again as the restrictions reduce for the lockdown. We'll work on foundation and rooting and grounding, because that's always important when we go through any kind of change or when we're feeling unsettled. And we'll centre really strongly around the breath, because of course that's always really anchoring as well. So if you just start in a seated position, any seat that's comfortable for you. Cross-legged is ideal, but if that doesn't work, you can kneel, or you can put your legs out straight. You can even put your back to a wall if you need some support. And we'll just sit for a moment. Maybe close your eyes, especially if you're practicing outside, or if the light is bright, or if it's very hot. It's always good then just to close the eyes, soothe the senses. And then we just start to tune in to our breath. Long inhales. And long exhales. Good. And we feel each time we exhale that some of the tension slides away, that we begin to feel more grounded, more centered. I think it's always good for our asana practice, our yoga practice, to begin this way, with a period of grounding and letting go of our distractions, letting go of our tension, so we don't carry all of that through and into our yoga practice. So we just find here a good space to start. We find Sthira Sukha, so steadiness and ease, good space. And we can maybe take another 5 or 6 breaths this way, gradually elongating the inhale. And then allowing the exhalation to elongate as well. And already I feel better. Notice here how you feel, if you feel more centered, if you feel easier, if your mind feels more spacious. Bring your hands in front of your heart. And you may already have in place your intention for summertime. If If not, you can make an intention just for this day or for this practice. And then when you're ready, we'll just come over and onto our backs. We'll see if we can release a little bit more of our tension before we go any further. So come into semi-supine, will be fine. And then just gather your right knee in towards you. So it's just a really simple single-legged Apanasana to begin with. So you're just releasing some tension from the right side, from the hip, from the right side of the back of the waist. And you don't need to pull or strive here. You can just rest here and that hip will soften into flexion. Maybe you feel a little bit of giving each time you exhale. And then when you feel that you're ready, just bring your head up towards your knee. So you curl, you flex the spine. If you feel stress in your neck here, you might just want to support your head with one hand. And we just hold it here for a moment or two. So really easy flexion. You just feel awakening in your center and your abdominals. You can continue with your breath. You don't need to hold your breath. And the thing that I really want us to notice here is as we come down, so you can inhale and just lower down, release. And then as you exhale, try and let go of any accumulation of tension in your neck and your shoulders. And you should just feel, in contrast to that effort, a really nice letting go and releasing here as you put your head back down. And then you can extend and bend this leg. So just tease out your hamstrings. It helps if you exhale as you extend the leg. That maybe just assists the release in the back of the leg there. So 2 or 3 of those, more if you need to. And then see if you can leave the leg up there. Now support the leg, bend the knee a little bit if you need to. We're just going to work on the foot, because as soon as we wake up our feet, we feel more connected to the ground. So plantar flex the foot, just point the toes and hold that flexion there for a moment. And then dorsiflex the foot, so you pull the toes towards you and hold that there for a moment. And then rotate the foot, so just go slow around in the biggest circle that you can possibly draw with your toes. So big rotation, and go slowly here and attentively try and make the circle that you're drawing as precise as you can. And then just go the other way, nice and slow again. Good. And then you can come back to the center and just plantar flex and dorsiflex a couple of times. Good. And then release this foot to the floor. And again, notice here how that feels, the contrast in the 2 sides, and the way this right side maybe feels a little bit easier than the left side, maybe a little bit lower, or we feel the connection to the ground more clearly through the right side. And you'll just do the same to your left side. So you bring your left leg in And again, you start without any stress or strain, just allowing your hip, your left side to release. So you can close your eyes. And take a breath or two. And then when you're ready, bring the head up towards the leg. And again, if you feel that you just want to support your head gently, you can, so that you're not bringing too much stress or strain into your neck. And we stay here for a few breaths. Maybe lift a little bit higher for the last breath. Just want to feel just the quiver of effort in your center. And then release slowly down. And as you exhale, just notice the way the shoulders and the neck release the tension, the stress. And then extend and bend again, slowly. Just tease out the hamstrings. Exhale as you extend. Inhale as you bend. You can leave that up there whenever you feel ready, and the first thing we do is a strong plantar flexion. So really point your toes so that you can see the knuckles at the roots of your toes. Hold it. Really nice way to wake up the arches of your foot. Go the other way and dorsiflex and hold that for a moment or two. And then rotate slowly and be as accurate, as precise as you can as you rotate your foot. The other way. Try and make the rotation as smooth as you can, so you refine so that it's not choppy or fragmented. Really nice smooth rotation. And then just dorsiflex and plantar flex again. Good. You can release this foot to the floor when you're ready, and just take a moment to notice how you feel, how the feet are more connected to the ground, how we feel more anchored. And then just press into the feet and let the hips raise. So I think I included this last week, but towards the end of the practice, certainly at Fritten last week, if you made any of the outdoor classes, you were including this posture towards the end of the practice. So we're not forcing or efforting, we don't need to come up particularly high, we just want to feel that the hips and pelvis hover here, that you release the gripping or tension from the backs of your legs and from your buttocks, your glutes. And if it feels okay for you, you could just open up here, take the arms up over the head and release the shoulders. And try and feel that the hips just float here for a moment or two. The belly space is open. You feel expansion into the frontal space as you inhale. And try and release away tension from your back, any resistance or gripping as you exhale. And then when you're ready, you can bring the arms back down and lower down slowly. So imagine that you're trying to place one vertebra at a time. Slowly down. Sinking into the mat. And just noticing that the body maybe feels somewhat different, heavier. That any feelings of being uprooted are gone, and that we now feel grounded. Slowly in your own way, you can bring yourself up to sit, so you can roll over onto one side or you can roll up. If you choose to roll up, try and roll up relatively slowly. And we'll just bring ourselves to sit one more time before we do anything else. So take a moment to notice how it feels now to be in your body. Your hands can be wherever you're most comfortable, wherever you feel best connected. And we're just going to do this 3 times. So we're going to be taking a huge inhalation, retaining it for a few moments, and then exhaling slowly but through the mouth. So we let go again of any gripping or holding or tension or stress. So begin with an exhale, allow yourself to empty. And then inhale slowly. Retain the inhalation. And then exhale slowly. And you feel as you exhale there that any tension just slides away from your shoulders. The same twice more. Okay, so big inhale. Retain. And when you're ready, slow exhale. And then when you're ready, one more time. So huge inhale. With retention. Exhale. Good. You notice how the breath feels now. There's maybe more space. And when you're ready, you can transition over and onto your hands and knees. So we come into tabletop pose. So spread the fingers, turn the toes under, soften the elbows, feel that the front supports the back. And then when you're ready, you take your right arm out to the side and up. So there's a little spiral through the spine, but there's opening in your chest and through your shoulders. You exhale slowly down. Other side, so left. And then down. And right. Down. Left. And down. Again. And down. And left. Really nice long line of energy from your right hand all the way through to your left, and then down. Sit back into child's pose, so plantar, flex your feet, reach your arms forward, take your hips back to your heels, wiggle a little bit if that helps you to make space. Eventually you release your head to the floor, and we take a few breaths here, just and releasing anything that is uprooting you at the moment. So any thoughts or worries or distractions, you can just release them to the earth as you exhale. We feel breath in the side ribs and into the back ribs. You stay in child's pose for as long as you need to. When you feel ready, you bring yourself slowly up. And we just contemplate that first downward facing dog. So really think about the roots of the posture first. Spread your fingers, turn your toes under. When you're ready, and you come slowly up. Long exhales. Feel that the exhales feed all the way down into the foundation of your posture, helping you to root through your fingers and your toes, feeling the energy rebound through the arms and the legs. You can pedal your legs if your hamstrings still feel tense or tight. You can come up onto your toes if you feel that you need to release and stretch your feet. So make the posture your own. Do whatever you need to do just to find yourself in your first downward facing dog. Take another breath. In your own time, you can walk your feet towards your hands. So be sure that you're not rushing or hurrying. You come slowly forward. Lift the heart, open the frontal space. And then exhale and into your full. So Uttanasana, you know that you can support this if you need to. You can lean on your thighs. If it feels okay for you to drop all the way down, you let the head hang, maybe shrug the shoulders. Ease out your neck. Long inhale. And a long exhale. We can restack, roll up whenever we feel ready. Try and let your head trail rather than lifting the head first, just letting the head follow, so that the last thing to restack is the neck and the head. And Bring yourself into Tadasana and see how you feel there in mountain pose. You spread through the feet. Allow the bones to align. So we feel good space. We feel again Sthira Sukha, steadiness and ease. The hands come in front of the heart. And when you're ready, you inhale all the way. You exhale slowly down. Inhale, frontal space opens and the heart lengthens forward. And then exhale and back down into your fold. Try and let the head drop. So again, we feel space around the base of the skull. And then on the inhale, we roll up. The exhale brings us just back to our Tadasana. The tail drops, the heart lifts. And then we repeat. We inhale up. Exhale and fold. Lift the heart, inhale. And this time the right leg steps back into a lunge, so Anjaneyasana. And you can wiggle this out as long as feels comfortable for you, so you can ease that right foot back. Try and keep your left hip squaring back. Reach back through your right heel, forward through your heart. Try and keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine. And take a breath or two here. If you feel you need more height, you can use blocks maybe underneath your fingers. And if you feel steady, you'll just take your fingers away from the floor and take a breath or two here. Keep the shoulders soft, let the hands relax. And when you're ready, you stand into your left foot and you let the right float forward. The heart lifts, breastbone forward again. And as you exhale, you release down and into your fold. Let the head drop. Your own time, you roll up. Again, try and let the head trail. The hands come back in front of the heart and you return to your Tadasana. Other side, inhale up. And exhale down. Heart forward, inhale. Slowly step back, exhale. So there's a moment here where we just float the left leg back. You can wiggle out as long as feels okay for you. So feel a bit of stretch through the front of your left leg and the back of your right leg. You square your right hip back. We breathe here as hip creases moving back. We tend to swing, in this case the right hip forward. Make sure you keep that energy from your right foot moving back into your right hip. Try not to lean too heavily on this thigh, but keep the belly drawn back and the ribs just slightly lifting away from that thigh. And if you can really stand into your feet, you take your fingertips off the floor. You stand into your right foot, your left foot floats forward, the heart lifts, breastbone moves forward. We exhale and fold. Rolling up slowly. And the hands come in front of the heart. You take a breath here and just notice how it feels to stand in Tadasana at the moment. And then see if you can raise this onto your toes. So you just come into a sky mountain pose. So try and keep your alignment. Your tail draws down, your belly draws back, the heels rise, and we just pause here for a moment or two. When you're ready, slowly sink the heels down, spread the toes again, and notice that the feet feel a little more awake. Inhale again, come up. Exhale and fold forward. Lifting the heart, inhale. Plant the hands and exhale into downward facing dog. Now the right foot leads as you walk back. You spread your fingers and your toes. And you take a breath here. Good. Now your left leg will rise first. So dorsiflex your left foot, straighten your left leg and see if you can raise the leg slowly here. Try and stay evenly grounded through both hands. Lift into that heel. Take one more breath. And then see if you can thread the left leg through. So you're coming back into lunge again. Now it might help to climb up onto your right toes, hug in your left leg and stride forward. Try and step the foot down as lightly as you can. Square your left hip back. Find your lunge again. So we'll take this lunge into a version of Parsvakonasana. So you're turning your right foot so that the sole of the foot is flat on the floor, the toes turn out a few degrees. The inner arch of that foot stays lifted, so you're not falling onto the inner arch of your foot. You're keeping the blade of the foot, the outer edge, really strongly grounded, the inner ankle and the inner arch lifted. We want to come into a version of Parsvakonasana. Now, it might help to use a block here inside your leg if you have one. We'll bring the hand onto the block. We'll keep the left hip open. We'll try and open the belly space. Turn through the ribs, open the chest. Stay really anchored into the feet. You can work out a little bit deeper if it feels okay for you. Try and keep your left knee over your left ankle. And then open all the way up. Perfect. We release from here. We're going to bring the hands to the mat. You can just step your block off to one side and see if you can take from here a transition straight back into plank. So still really nice, slow, clear, strong transitions. Slow lower. The hands come alongside your chest. lengthen. So you reach the legs back, maybe you give the hips a rock. Baby cobra. Into Shalabhasana. Really strong back lines. Releasing down. And then transition either into child's pose or downward facing dog. So if you need a moment, if you need to release your back, decompress your back waist, you can maybe take a child's pose. Otherwise, just downward facing dog here. And take a breath. Good. Slowly the feet walk up towards the hands. We lift the heart and we lengthen. And we exhale and fold. Rolling up. Coming back to Tadasana. So again, inhale and come up. Exhale and fold. Uttanasana, open the frontal space. Plant the hands, transition slowly, left leg leads, downward facing dog. Find a clear foundation in your dog, take a breath. And then when you're ready, you stand into the left foot and it's the right leg that rises. Really slowly. Coming through, so you hug in towards your center, climb onto your left toes, hug in and stride through. And without a sound, if you can, you place the right foot forward. The right hip squares back. So from your right foot, the energy moves the hip back. You reach back through your left heel and find your lunge again. You might want to check in with your strength. And then we start to build Parsvakonasana. So, there's that spin through the back foot. You keep the inner arch, the inner ankle lifted. You might want to use a block inside your ankle. And you try and keep that hip open. So make sure that your knee here is tracking, your right knee is tracking right over your toes. And we start to open up. So through from the back foot, you turn through the pelvis, you open your belly space, you turn your ribs, you open your chest. And then you open all the way through. Nice clear breath. Coming all the way back down, you set the block off to one side. And see if you can step straight back again and into your plank. So you find plank through your left side, and then you just bring the right side back. Lower down slowly, elbows stay in. When you lift your heart for baby cobra, keep your neck long. So we're not sticking the chin forward and scrunching, putting pressure on the back of the neck, but we're keeping the neck long. So the gaze is towards the front edge of your yoga mat. And then when you're ready, power the legs. Shalabhasana. Optional, you can take the hands away. And you come down when you're ready. Your choice, downward dog or child's pose. Long inhale. Long exhale. Small steps, bring you forward. We lift the heart, lengthen. And we exhale and fold. When you're ready, bend the knees, press the feet, restack the spine. And you bring yourself back into Tadasana. Good. Okay, from here we'll play with a version or two of a standing balance pose. So find Tadasana and then come into your left foot and raise your right leg. Now really think about the alignment through your pelvis and your spine. You might like to hug this leg in. It's like a single-legged Apanasana that we would take supine, but we feel the lengthening through the lower back as we hug the leg in. We draw the belly back towards the spine. And then if this feels okay for you, you could open the hip and bring the foot into Vrksasana, into a tree pose. Now press the foot to the thigh and equally press the thigh back towards the foot. So there's a really clear, firm connection between your foot and your thigh. Keep drawing your tail down, your belly back, lifting your ribs, and you bring your hands in front of your heart. When you're ready, you stand down and we just repeat to the other side. So you're standing on your right foot. When you're ready, you lift your left leg. And you just find this simple version to start with. If you need your foot closer to the floor, this is okay as well. If it feels okay to come further, the belly draws back, ribs in the chest lift. If you feel really stable and would like to hug that in more firmly, go ahead. If you lose your balance, it's no problem. You just come out of the posture, begin again with patience. You come back to it, the first phase, maybe consider that second phase. The important thing is that we stay patient, even if we feel a little bit wobbly today. So the belly draws back, the tail draws down. And you can open into Vrksasana if you wish. So you open the hip, try not to turn your pelvis. The foot comes to the thigh. And then create that firm seal between foot and thigh, so the two press together. The energy ascends. And you come into tree pose Vrksasana. Breath or two. Good. You stand down when you're ready. And before we come down to the floor again, just notice how it feels now to stand in your body. You notice your Sthira Sukha, your steadiness and ease. Space in your body. Steady body, steady breath. That your mind is steady. And then we heel toe, the feet a bit wider and drop down into Malasana. If this isn't possible, if your knees are vulnerable and you need an alternative, you can drop straight down onto your seat. Maybe come into Baddha Konasana, we'll come there in a moment or two. If this is okay for you, take 1 or 2 breaths. You can use your arms just to ask the hips to open. If your heels are raised, you can always use a block underneath your heels or any support that you have. You know, a couple of books would do the trick. Try and feel that you lift out of your pelvis. You lengthen your spine, you lift your heart, but you drop down through your tail and your heels. You come down into Baddha Konasana, so the soles of your feet come together and your knees drop out to the side. You can use a block here to help you align your pelvis. Sometimes a little bit of support just under the back of your seat and then dropping your seat bones. Maybe your sit bones, maybe just in front of the block. That gives the pelvis a little bit of support. We feel that the pelvis is vertical. And then the spine can lift and lengthen up out of there, the pelvis. If you need to hold your ankles to help you draw your shoulder back and lift your heart, you can. And we just sit for a moment. We come back to steady, calm energy. Long inhales. And long exhales. You can stay here with the spine vertical, or if it feels appropriate for you, you can bow forward over your feet. Try and let the neck relax. In your own time, you can come slowly up. You can lift the knees in towards each other. You might just want to hug your legs in towards you while the sensations there in your hips and inner leg lines subside. And then when you're ready, you can bring yourself over and onto your back. So just bring yourself into semi-supine. And take a breath or two here. So you let the body drop into the ground, you let the shoulders relax, you let the neck relax. If it feels okay for you to come all the way down, you can straighten out your legs. You can have your hands on your belly or wide at your sides with the palms up. And just sigh the breath away once or twice. You can scan your body here, your face. Be sure that you're not holding any tension. Notice that your body feels steady, that your energy feels steady, that your mind is steady. And then also that we feel spacious, that the body is spacious. That the mind is spacious and calm. And again, we notice the qualities of Sthira and Sukha, of steadiness and ease. You can, of course, stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. When you feel that you are ready, you can move your fingers and your toes, maybe your wrists, your ankles. You can stretch out your arms and legs. You can stretch out long, or you might prefer to hug in. You might like to do a little of each. In your own time, you bring yourself up to sitting, so you can roll over onto one side. If you roll up very slowly. And you just bring yourself back to sit, and you take a moment again, just to notice how you feel. And take a bow forward. Slowly up. Namaste.